Waypoint refreshed. Please connect the drone. Returning. Connected.
I think I got too many things going on here. Well, I didn't test anything out. I should have. I just wanted to do this and get this going. Let me try to connect this a little different here. This is why I do it live. What it is what it is.
Oh, that's cool. Is that a putting green?
Yeah. Get ready to mow it right now.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there.
Remote control connected. Connected.
Thanks, man. You have a great night. It's okay.
Home crash.
Wondering if, so I'm using a new app. I was hoping it was going to work, but I noticed as soon as I pressed a button, this all disconnected. So I'm going to try it again. And I guess if it disconnects, it disconnects. So here we go. Start the mower. And we're just going to get this going here. Like I said, when I'm doing the live here, I have no idea what's going on with my streams once I start it. I am using a few new tools because I'm always trying to do something different. It doesn't always work. Like I can already see that one of my cameras is not checking in. So, and it was the camera I wanted you to see most. Let me see if I can reset it here. See, so that's Oh, let me see. Let me put it over on that camera real quick. So when I change screens, I have no idea whether it's changing screens or not. So this is a new view that I'm doing right here. I was trying to do it with my GoPro, but I finally gave up last night after working on it for a few hours. So I just wanted to show that view, and then I'll go to that one. I don't know how well that worked out, but I really wanted to do it with my GoPro, and this grass is really long again. I really got to start mowing twice a week. But this main part of my putting green is looking amazing. You know, I still have the, you know, areas that I reseeded going. You know, and my main reason for doing these lives is, you know, I'm just, you know, trying to be a little different with, you know, what I'm doing with YouTube lawn care type stuff. I mean, I like to talk about lawn care. I really feel like I need to go up and down. This screen is, oh my God, it's looking great. So again, I'm gonna have to mow it with my rotary mower to get all these grass blades up. I really need to mow up and down on it too, because when I do turns, it does not, the green doesn't like it. So I really have a lot of projects going on right now, and you know, I wanted to mow earlier, but I have this project lawn that I'm working on that I'm redoing for a neighbor, and I talk about it every live now because it's a really big project, and I'm trying to do it as economically as possible for this couple. They're an older couple, and they're really nice people, and they just asked me to do it. They wanted a nice lawn. They wanted a putting green. You know, I mean, I told them I would do a putting green, but I said, let's get the lawn going first, and then let's do a putting green, because that's a lot of work to do all at once. And I don't know if you saw the guy that just walked by, he was like, is that a putting green? I mean, I've seen that guy walk by before. I guess he never noticed it before. I don't know. But, and you know, with the weather getting really nice, there's so many more people out. And I've just had a lot of neighbors walk by today while I was been out in the yard. You know, our grandson was over, and we were out here with him for a lot of this afternoon. And a lot of people were just stopping and talking to us. You know, just about things in general. But, you know, also the yard is always a lawn starter.
Please connect the drone.
Or a conversation starter.
Returning.
So I feel like if I get these grass clippings to go all over in my new seating area, it would be great, and it would help that seating area, you know, grow. Oh, the drone already landed? Oh, man. I kind of want to put the new, or I want to cut the new bent grass growing over here, but I'm going to cut it on a higher setting. I know I have enough bandwidth to do what I'm trying to do with all my cameras and stuff. But because I'm doing everything wirelessly, you know, that's my big thing. All my connections right now are wireless. I have, I don't know, 6 connections wirelessly going on my internet. And, you know, I got really fast internet speed. I learned my lagging issue last week was because I had too many cameras going at one time. And I know the drone probably just cut out. That's why it's on the ground. It probably lost its signal or whatever and just dropped out of the sky. I know the battery. So I'd really like getting it going to where the rest of my putting green I could cut, because this is, I mean, it's not tearing up my putting green, because like I told you last week, you know, when I'm turning around on my putting green and I'm making these tire marks, you know, it all repairs really quickly. But it would be nice to be able to turn around outside of the putting green. And I'm just cutting it both ways here to try to get this grass spread out a little more evenly, and actually more in the new seeding area. Because that's the nice thing about the bent grass, is the clippings will start growing. I am cutting at 2 millimeters right now. That is the legit cutting height that I have set on my putting green. And I'm mowing it first because, of course, it was already set at 2 millimeters. So when I'm done here on this last cut, I'll go in the garage and I'll reset it. So yeah, I don't know if you can, I think that's the right camera view. So I don't know if you can see these spots right here, but there's 2 spots right in the bottom right and the top left of the camera. Those are turnaround spots for my tires. So I wish I was able to see what's going out on the stream, but I just can't. One of these days I'll get my stream going halfway decent, but for now it is what it is. I'm just kind of doing it to do it and just put some stuff out there, because I like setting up the live. I was kind of hoping my drone was going to work a little bit better. So I'm going to move this camera inside. Oh man, this is really dark. Sorry. It was really bright out earlier. I'll raise this up. I think I had that accident. So today's mow was just basically a test live that I'm doing. I really had to cut the grass. I'm going to cut it again tomorrow. Like I said, I really need to clean off this grass here on the mower. I got all my tools in my van because I was working on that other yard today. And tomorrow tomorrow I'm going over to my younger son's house. I did his yard last year, and I'm going to redo it. Last year when I talked to him about doing his yard, it was a real last minute decision, and I threw down the grass seed that I had in my house. And it's my grass seed, and I should have known better than to do that, because the grass I grow takes a little bit more attention than, let's see if I can get this back up here.
Remote control connected. Connected.
So hopefully that fixed the drone on the live. I'm gonna set this up on the putting green. Maybe you can see that, maybe not. I'm gonna put this camera view. I'm gonna do one of these and just let it sit here. It was really nice today. My soil temperature was like 68 degrees, which is a really nice temperature. And so I mean, I hope things aren't lagging too much. I'm gonna put this over on that. So I won't know until I do a replay on this live here how well things worked out and what tweaks I need to make. I'm going to try to make it better for tomorrow. But you know, I'm learning a lot about a lot of this stuff, because I have no clue about any of this technical garbage that I'm doing, you know, with streaming and, you know, all the camera views I'm trying to use. But I did finally figure out that I can't stream too many camera views at one time, or else it's going to start lagging. I did just learn that, and it makes sense now that, you know, I've learned it. I'm like, well, duh, I guess that makes sense. So I am hoping that, sorry, I need to get I'm hoping that my reconfigure here is working out pretty good. It's so nice that the sun's out so much later now, you know. And our sunsets are finally after 8 o'clock. So I can start mowing the lawn when I get home. I mean, I try my hardest to get home as early as possible, and sometimes it just doesn't work for me. Okay, loud noise. You know, Friday was supposed to be a slow, easy day, and I ended up working, I don't know, as long as, okay, so I need to raise this. Yeah, so it'd be, oh wait, I gotta loosen these, duh. No wonder it's so hard to move. There we go. So again, when I'm adjusting the height here, I'm turning both the adjusting knobs at the same time to try to get it to raise evenly, so one side's not higher than the other. And then hopefully they're about at the same height. So we're going from 2 millimeters to 8 right now. Oh, and of course I went too far. I went to 9.5. Let's see what this is. If this went to 8, all right, well, this is not going to be good. So I've learned that by shaking this and getting everything equal, let's see what this is. It makes it so that the, what am I doing here? Going lower. Then the other problem is because I have grass blades and there's sand and dirt all over the wheels and the reel, I get a different cut setting. That looks pretty good actually. .07 and 8.13. That's close enough for me. So I'm going to tighten cross member here. It's going to hold everything in place. Let's do a quick check on it one more time. See where it ended up at. .3 and 8.29. That's fine with me. The grass is so long, it's going to be fine. And that's what happens when I tighten that cross member up. The height changed a little bit because this whole setup in the front for the adjusting is just kind of, it's kind of Mickey Mouse. But you know, for the price of this greenskeeper and the cut you get, I mean, realistically, this, I say it every weekend. You know, this thing is most likely designed and built for one cut height at a time, meaning if you're going to cut it at 8 millimeters, you're going to just use it at 8 millimeters. You're not going to do what I'm doing where I'm using 2-3 different cutting heights. So I believe that's everything. Let's do that. So I'm gonna go grab another drone battery. I'm gonna try to get this drone set up, and then I'm just gonna mow the rest of the Kentucky bluegrass. So hang on one second. All right, so I just saw that on that 3 camera view, it was pretty laggy. I don't know how the rest of the stream's going. I thought I had it on an acceptable bit rate. All right, so I'm gonna try this drone again, see if I can get this thing going.
Please connect the drone.
Or maybe I just need to leave it on one screen, not change it, and it will maybe work.
Remote control connected. Connected.
Okay, so that's got it connected. It'd be nice if that stayed. It looks like I got it working on the screen. So I wasn't recording last time I did my drone, so now I'm trying to record the drone action. So I can always
Home
do
point
a...
refreshed.
Oops. I want to do this. Okay, we'll capture that much of my yard. I have a feeling if I change this view now, it's gonna be crap. It's gonna disconnect that. Seems a little dark. Let me see if I can. All right, that looks good. So we'll do some of that, and I'll set this camera up over here and get this one going. All right, so I'm going to change camera views and see what happens. Well, it didn't say it disconnected, so that's a good start. I'll do one more. See what that one does. So, I mean, I do have another device that I could use to monitor, but I mean, I'm mowing, so I can't really see what's going on. So I'm starting to get a lot of recovery from the tenacity bleaching of the bent grass in my Kentucky bluegrass, and just some bleaching in general that's been going on. I really need to trim that. Those stupid plants over there. Probably do that tomorrow. So like I said, tomorrow I'm going over to do my son's yard. I never really finished talking about that because I got a lot of things going on. And so I redid his yard last year in April, and he had never really had his yard. He's been in his house for a couple of years. And he just called me on a Tuesday, and he was like, you know, doing something on his computer with a sprinkler system, and, you know, he's asking me, hey, do you think this will work for a sprinkler system? And he was using like I think it was the app on the Home Depot. And, you know, he was trying to see if he could get his, you know, get a sprinkler system going on his, let me see here. Let me try to level this out here. Oops. Because he wanted to, you know, about it. And so we talked about it. And I said, you know, hey, are you thinking about, you know, plant some grass in your yard or what? And he said, yeah, he wanted to. And I was busy with a bunch of projects back at that time that were getting ready to start. And I told him, I said, well, if you want, we can do that this weekend. And, we went out, we did, we set it up, we put sprinklers in, we did his grass. And the one thing I didn't realize is that, the grass that I grow it's not the hardest grass, but it's not something that, like the casual, homeowner that doesn't really do much in his yard, that's not the kind of grass that, it's not necessarily high maintenance, but it requires some attention, nutrients, a lot of nitrogen, and he really doesn't mow a lot. Like, I was over there today picking up our grandson, and his grass is like 6 inches tall, hasn't been mowed in I don't know how long. He's gonna mow it, or he said he mowed it today so we could do it tomorrow. So I'm just gonna put some perennial rye, like I did with my neighbor Wilson. I'm just gonna put some perennial rye. It grows so quick. It's pretty easy to maintain. He's got a sprinkler system, so all he's got to do is set it up and go. He's got a dog, so he needs something that's going to grow in quick. I put Kentucky bluegrass and the shade mix that I have. It's fine fescue and that sort of stuff. And the backyard turned out really good. It's the shade grass. His front yard turned out really good too, but what happened is at the end of the season, and kind of do a little bit of an overseed and hold them to. I had told him to put down some pre-emergent, and I had forgot I told him to do that. And I went over there and I, used my detacher and all that kind of stuff, and his yard didn't like it. I planted grass seed and it never grew because of the pre-emergent. So I really owe him to fix that. So now that pre-emergent's all gone, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that perennial rye in there and, call it good. It should be a nice, easy yard for him to take care of and look good. Like I said, he's not really because he's busy, like we're all busy. I mean, not everybody's like me where they look forward to going and doing a mow. If you want to have a nice yard, it's not a difficult thing to have a nice yard. That really helps cutting that bent grass there. That's just growing in. Man, I'm really sorry if this video is turning out choppy. I was trying not to get it to be choppy. So by trying to mow twice a week now, that should get this grass growing pretty good, thickening up. You know, it's still trying to recover from the winter and fill in. You know, I have 100% Kentucky bluegrass, and because of that, there's nothing to deal with the cold temperatures and continue growing like a perennial rye. There's nothing growing to deal with the shaded areas. So my shaded areas basically die out in the winter, and I have a lot of that in the winter because of how low the sun is in the sky. And you know, so when you're thinking about putting your lawn together, you know, there's just, it's not a difficult process. There is a lot of things you need to think about and consider. You know, do you want to have a irrigation system? You know, irrigation system is, you know, a nice thing to have. I have one, and using it properly is probably the key to having a successful lawn. You know, living in Western Washington, it's pretty easy to grow grass out here because, you know, we do get a lot of rain, but we don't get all these crazy weather conditions like some people do. And so we don't, I mean, at least I don't have a lot of disease problems. You know, our biggest thing that we deal with out here is POA. Turnaround spot right there. So my neighbor Doug has been doing some research, and he got a product called Drive, and he was telling me that we're doing a bunch of research on it and said that that will get rid of POA. I swear I've heard of it before, but I thought there was a reason why I wasn't using it. But he said it was okay to put on Kentucky bluegrass, so I don't know what the reason was. I'm almost positive I had, you know, found this stuff when I was doing my own research on POA and how to deal with it. And I mean, I guess we'll find out. He just sprayed it today. So we're going to monitor that and see how that goes. You know, I'm just basically looking for some regrowth in my spots that I had sprayed and killed POA last season. You know, it was like December last season, wintertime. And because I did it in the winter, you know, the grass isn't growing, so it didn't recover. So I'm looking for it to recover now. You know, most of the bleaching from the tenacity I use killing the bent grass is almost gone. I raked my yard today again, and it seemed like most of it was coming out. And I'm going to use my rotary mower to vacuum all this up again today. It looks like I lost this camera. I'm going to get that going again. All right. See how that view is looking. It's just the recovery on this is going really slow. I mean, the grass is filling in the bare spots. like I just still got a couple of bad patches of bent grass. Not a lot of POA, but there's definitely some bent grass happening. I hope the drone view is working for you. There's that. If it's not, I apologize. I'll change it back over. But this is a bad area of my lawn right here because of the shade in the wintertime. And maybe you can get a view of it on this shaky camera. I wish it didn't shake so much, but you know, this area right here, I'll try to hold this camera here a little bit, so I can't. Yeah, it's just not letting me hold it, but this whole area right here is actually filling in really nicely. Maybe if I turn this down, it will stop shaking so much. Maybe you can see. So the grass is really filling. This whole area was dirt, nothing but dirt after winter. About probably 3 weeks ago, it started filling in. And this is about 3 weeks of coverage. But I still got some bare spots here. But for the most part, all this grass is recovering and growing back in right here. And that's, I hope I had it on the right camera there. All this right here. And I'll show you with a different camera when I'm done here. Because I know that camera is really, really shaky. It's mounted on my mower. That's why I wanted to get the drone, or I mean the GoPro on this mower. Because the GoPro, has stabilizer on it to prevent the shaking. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm just going to mow this back little section here. Hey, I'm not doing a live here for any other reason than that's just what I do. I'm trying to, basically just show people how my yard progresses through the year, what it starts looking like, when it fully recovers from the winter. Like I said, because it's a full 100% Kentucky bluegrass. All right, so here's another area. So this area is not filling in as quickly. I've got some grass seed over here, and I got some shade grass mix going on. And there's a little bit of it coming back. It actually was a bigger bare spot. It is filling in, but it's filling in really slow because this area still doesn't get a lot of sunlight. It's starting to, but it still kind of gets drowned by some shade. And then I have this tree over here that, it's starting to spit leaves out. So once it does that, we're going to get a little more shade over here. And I really don't do much on this side of the yard because, nobody really sees it up here. And so I really don't I fertilize it. I do stuff to it, but for the most part, I don't take care of it like I do the part of the grass that's really close to the street. I try to maintain that grass pretty well. It still kills me with as bad as my lawn looks right now from just all the, self-caused damage I've done to it with the spraying of tenacity, the bleaching, the killing of, different weeds and grasses. It just kills me that people, still are like, is that real grass? It's like, yeah, it's real grass, but it looks terrible right now. What are you talking about? I mean, the putting green looks really good. The grass, Kentucky bluegrass. Oops. Yeah, so this other camera down here on my mower, it does not like to stay connected. So whatever. I mean, I know that this is gonna all fill in and look great in, you know, a couple more weeks. I'm not really concerned about it. You know, there's still some earthworm casting areas that I'm working on. Trying to move some stuff around here because I gotta mow the backyard. And you know, yeah, I'm just gonna continue the live in the backyard. I'm gonna move the cameras back there. I'm already set for it. I got this little side patch of grass that I wanted to mow here. And again, I'm really sorry. It's really choppy. I'll watch it again tonight, and I'll try to see about getting. So you see all these garbage bags back here? So that's from my project yard I've been working on. What I've been doing over there right now, you know, I sprayed it with glyphosate and it killed it all. And I had to do moss out on it because there was a lot of moss over there. So this grass I did not mow last week, so it's a little long. And this is just my patch grass. This is what I use to fill in, you know, some bare spots. I'm not really using it this year. I'm trying to get rid of it actually, because I have my side yard over here was actually pretty clean last week. I've been cleaning this up and keeping it clean because this is where I want to plant some grass. I don't know what that is. But with this project lawn, I'm you know, having to remove all that grass and the moss and all that. So I basically killed it with glyphosate, killed the moss with moss out, everything dead and dying. I did have to do a second application of some glyphosate in a couple of areas that I missed. So I wanted to start next weekend with getting it to going again, but I think I'm going to wait another weekend. So me and my friend Jason, we were over there today, and we were just using my Sunjo dethatcher, and we're just working a section because, you know, it's battery operated, and I have 3 sets of batteries, so I can work over there for about 2 hours. On that amount of batteries. So get over this. So I'm just gonna move the mower back here, and I'm gonna reset everything. The backyard. So I'm gonna move these cameras back here, get a new battery for my drone, reset the cameras to make sure everything's still operating. Backyard is just gonna take a quick second to mow. Let's see here. So here's what my backyard's looking like. Oh, looks like this camera cut out. Oh my God, it's so dark. What happened here? Man, I can't tell if my battery's dying or what's going on over here. Battery must be dying. All right, I'm gonna get a, well, I can't plug this in. Well, what I can do is I could change this out. All right, we're gonna lose Mike for just a second. I'm gonna go fix all this stuff right now. Okay, that should get some microphone action going. So I noticed, I don't know how long maybe I've had cameras not working.
Remote control connected. Connected. Home point refreshed.
How this works out. Do that. Start this. know you can't see me back over here. Live I want to do, like I do on Sunday mornings. I have one all set up. I have all the material I want to do for it, and I really just don't have the time right now to put into that. So I appreciate the guy that sent me the comment on why my mower's dying out on an incline. There it goes. Although I haven't done anything about it yet. I meant to before I started, but it just got so late. But what he was saying was there's like a oil level sensor. What did I do? I turned it off. That was stupid. There's an oil level sensor that if your oil's not full, it has a tendency to tilt the oil too far to one side, and then it'll cut the engine out. So I need to check the oil level. I did do a service and oil and change on this about a month and a half ago, something like that. I did it this last winter. And maybe I just didn't in your bag. So my, I don't know if my drone's working. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Get this camera going. So in case that other view didn't work, so here's how the mow turned out. This is the corner here that just doesn't get a lot of sunlight, and shade is killing it. I'm going to plant some shade seed over there, see how well that works out. So, okay, so this phone's getting ready to die. Just got a message. So, all in here, these were all bare spots. There's still a little bit of bare spot right here. Right where that little stick is right there, or that pine needle. Still a little bit of a bare spot showing in right there. Big bare spot right here. But there was 3 really huge bare spots right here. I did a turkey fry for Thanksgiving, and I'm not quite sure what happened, why I had an area. I don't remember spilling any grease, but maybe I spilled grease or something. But right in here, big, huge patch of bare dirt, already recovered. So this whole area, there was 3 big bare patches, one here, and one over here. And it's all filled in really good. So in this area of my backyard, this is like, I don't know what to do with this. I need to work on this. I'm gonna plant the shade mix back here, see what happens again this year, but I don't even mow back here. I got moss growing in the back here. Here, let me show you this. This is my Bermuda grass. And, you know, we have some greening starting to happen already. It's April, and I've already got some greening starting to grow in. Now this right here, these are some little pieces that I pulled out of my Kentucky bluegrass right along the edge. And look at how it's growing right there. Those aren't even planted. Those are just sitting on top of the grass. I was just gonna plant those as like plugs in these bare spots. I threw those there before after I had scalped it. But I had scalped this lawn down to, I think it was like 4 millimeters in February, I think it was. So you can see there, I got a lot of green starting to come in. So my Bermuda grass is coming back to life, and we have a lot of, I think this is a weed right here. I know that's a weed. I think this, I'm not sure what this is right here. I'm gonna just let it go. It's green, it's grass, whatever. So I did spray this Bermuda grass with glyphosate in January because I had some weed grass growing in here, maybe even some Kentucky bluegrass. So this is my line. I have this barrier right here. And so I try to, with my edger, keep this barrier cut on each side and try to prevent any Bermuda. And you know, if you look in here, there is not any Bermuda that has come back over. And like I said, I had pulled out some. You know, see, so here's what I'm talking about. So see this right here? I think this is Kentucky bluegrass seeding, because this does not look like POA. You know, but it's cut so short, it's hard to tell. And then if you try to pull it, it's in there. It's not pulling out. So I think I just might be getting some bent grass. I mean, I'm sorry, some Kentucky bluegrass seeding, because it's not light green. It blends in with the Kentucky bluegrass just like the rest of the Kentucky bluegrass around here. They didn't cut up here because I have my power cord going across to my phone. And again, I'm really sorry that this video is really choppy. So here's what things are looking like back this way. So I've been out here long enough. Gonna call that a finished mow.